people. Without further ado, I want to welcome in our powerhouse panel on this Tuesday morning. We've got the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCoy, here. Attorney, Republican strategist, and contributor for Turning Point USA, Erin Elmore, back with us. And former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates is joining us as well. Good morning to all. Happy Tuesday.
To President Putin, that there are areas where we can't cooperate if he chooses.
We're the back of the pack is what it amounts to, and what Biden has done at the G7 has, in essence, not been as strong as of a showing that he needs to. This was
play a soundbite for you. A reporter asked Joe Biden if he still thought Vladimir Putin was a killer. Joe Biden tried to answer the question, then he took a long pause, like a 10-second pause, and then he gave, I want you to try and understand what he's saying. To me, it was a completely incoherent answer to the question that he was asked. Take a listen.
In a weekend interview, Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer? And I'll continue the trend if you don't mind of asking a second question. Do you...
Answer the first question? I'm laughing too. I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do.
Erin, we never play a soundbite that long, but we had to just to give everyone at home sort of what it felt like to have that. I thought there was something wrong with my my TV at home when I was watching that live, but that's the way it played out. What's your take on the president's performance thus far?
There is no humor to be found in clips like this anymore. It's one thing for the mainstream media in America to gaslight the American people and just say that we are, air quotes, sour grapes because Donald Trump didn't get reelected. This is an obvious showing of a president that is in serious cognitive decline. Now we are parading him around the world stage, showing some of the most difficult and despotic world leaders just how bad of a position we are in as Americans. Whomever is pulling the strings behind the scenes should really take a minute and think, is this the best idea for America? Is this the best idea for the world? Do we really want a president this incompetent to be out there for the whole world, not just the United States anymore, to see? And there is a journalist online who seems to do a lot of undercover work. He said that Justin Trudeau told his insiders and his team after meeting with Biden and spending time with Biden, he doesn't give this another year.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. I appreciate you. You're the one that sent me that over the weekend, and we were talking about it on the panel. At the top of the hour, a lot to get into. The president's first international trip still taking place. He's in Brussels still right now. He'll head to Switzerland a little bit later today in preparation for his meeting with the Russian president tomorrow. Looking forward to it. See you guys in about 19 minutes here on Wake Up. Rachel's with us right now. The Powerhouse panel on this Tuesday morning. I was going to say the first time, but no, they were just here about 30 minutes ago, so it's not the first time. The former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCoy, is attorney, Republican strategist, and contributor for Turning Point USA. Erin Elmore is here, and former Trump campaign aide Rick Gates is with us as well. To this whole point about that, say all federal holidays now need to be called just days off. So instead of Merry Christmas, it's going to be Merry Day Off. Instead of Happy Hanukkah, it's going to be Happy Day Off. They're all going to be day offs. Thanksgiving, you can go right down the list. But many parents in New Jersey went to a recent school board meeting and are fighting back. Take a listen.
Despite the board's missteps, tonight you have an opportunity to heal and to lead. Show other districts you are objective and balanced and open-minded, and act in the interests of your own community.
Agendas, in this case, school boards, on the rest of us.
But as we have seen, it has worked with things like critical race theory. The state of Virginia is in absolute disarray right now because there are the critical race theory, the hashtag, air quotes, woke culture. They're actually calling them Chardonnay, Antifa, a new take on the limousine liberal. But these people are not practicing what they preach. They are pretending to be these social justice warriors behind their very own fences at home and their walls and their gates. And it's really sad because the unintended consequence that they are not thinking about is their children. Our children deserve to know math and reading and science, opposed to this wokeness that isn't benefiting them at all intellectually. And all this is virtue signaling at the expense of our young and impressionable children.
Yeah, and I feel like, we talk till we're, blue in the face about this, Rick, on the show here. And it's like the people that really suffer, forget about the parents or these people on the school board, where it's like, how about just do your job? This has been a really, really complicated year and a half. How about just do your job? Betsy McCoy, Erin Elmore, Rick Gates. Rick, take a listen to this. Alexei Navalny, who might be president of Russia, were it not for how Vladimir Putin has blocked his ability. But here's what he was asked: when Navalny will leave prison, or will he be alive when he leaves prison? He was asked some pretty pointed questions. Take a listen.
Will you commit that you will personally ensure that Alexei Navalny will leave prison alive?
I proceed from the premise that the person that you have mentioned, the same kind of measures will apply, not in any way worse than to anybody else.
That type of behavior, that type of attitude. I thought it was interesting that even throughout the interview, even pressed by, Keir Simmons, a reporter, he never once mentioned Navalny by name.
This solo press conference thing. Typically, when you hear the word summit, and this is just, I'm judging this based on what we've seen in the past. When you have a summit with a foreign leader, both leaders get together because it's a summit. It's a very formal occasion, and then both leaders take answers from the press, also to give the press their moment and reaffirm how important the press is. This is not going to happen. Joe Biden's going to hold a solo press conference tomorrow, which is really unusual.
So the average consumer of news would just assume that these two gentlemen would have a handshake, sit down, have a discourse behind closed doors, and try to solve some serious international problems. And because they're not doing that, I think there's a clear indicia that there is a problem with Joe Biden. As we see, Putin, you may hate him and he might be a despotic demon, but he is cogent, he is competent, he can give salient answers. We don't have that from our president. In fact, we've seen, perhaps this is a conspiracy theory, but what we've learned these days is what's the difference between the truth and a conspiracy theory? About 6 months. That Biden has to wear special smart contact lenses, so there's almost like a teleprompter behind his eyes so he can get through a meeting. I mean, these are serious
Well, hold on,
things.
wait a second, Erin. Let's hold on, back that up a little bit. Now, I have heard this as well in the, when I say far right, I mean it's very far to the right, but that the president could be wearing these smart contacts. Where are you hearing that?
Someone that I know that's an ocular specialist said that it's not within the realm of possibility. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. But when people are even saying this, it's something that we should at least discuss and consider, because he is so cognitively declined. He makes such massive gaffes. This could be happening.
Betsy, thoughts on that quickly?
Well, clearly Biden got outsmarted by agreeing to separate press conferences, because Putin will say very derogatory comments about Biden and nobody will really know what happened in the meeting.
I can always count on her to bring something that, and by the way, who knows? Who knows? I want to shift right now and just talk about something that we brought this up yesterday, but it developed a little bit more yesterday. AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, over the weekend suggested and then reaffirmed that Justice Stephen Breyer should retire.
To say something like this, it's generating a lot of attention. Other Democrats are getting behind it.
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too.
Erin, your reaction?
This is troubling. And it's one thing for the mainstream media here in America to gaslight the American people into thinking that Joe Biden is completely competent and cogent. It's another thing to parade Joe Biden around an international stage with some of the most difficult and challenging world leaders, and letting them see what's going on for themselves. By the other hand, maybe this will let the world stage know that it's time to speak up. So maybe that's going to be the good part that comes out of this. I've said this earlier and I'll say it again. There are allegations. May they be far right? Perhaps. I'm just here to tell you what I've heard and what I've read is that some people are saying he's wearing smart contact lenses so he can almost read like a little teleprompter inside his eyes so he can actually put together answers. That's how bad his cognitive decline may be. But if this is not an example of that Joe Biden is not completely here and he's not doing well, I don't know what is.
That is quite an accusation to level there. I mean, that technology does exist. Betsy, you haven't heard anything like that, have you?
I haven't. But what I would say is that although Putin is certainly not as threatening at the moment as China, Biden has some very serious issues to deal with.
I think Joe Biden is going to be walking a tightrope tomorrow. It's very, very important. This is a defining meeting for him on whether Europe, the world, Americans on the right and the left see a strong, competent president.
Nice to have a cooperative American president again. Somebody that's going to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal. Somebody that's going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accords. Somebody who is basically not Donald Trump. What'd you make of all that?
I mean, it's so nice to have a president that's, destroyed peace in the Middle East, destroyed our energy independence, that's created massive inflation, pain at the pump, hackings in our own country. President Trump had no wars under his belt, but now Joe Biden is the breath of fresh air to the leftists just because he's not orange man bad. It's really sad to see what's happening, but if you really boil down to what's going on in Biden's America, it's way crazier and far more tumultuous, and things are actually pretty dangerous. And look at our major cities in the United States. So you know what? If someone is happy with Joe Biden, I'd really like to know why.
All right, I want to play a soundbite from Vladimir Putin. He was interviewed by NBC News. His first.
Sit down together, talk, look for compromise solutions that are acceptable for all the parties.
Koy, so good to see you both.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back this morning.